Alright, hey guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the fighter bombers I have before me, or behind me, and their effectiveness and how you can utilize them in a battle situation. Because bottom line is you want to win, and you want to invest the least amount you can into a battle. And you know what? Fighter bombers are perfect at this. Alright, first off, we got the Kyoto something. Yeah. It's using the I think it's using the RDAV missile scripts. I believe that's the camera one. We got the mystery meat. Um, you're really heavy fighter. This is more of a kinetic. Kinetic missiles are on this guy. Same as the mystery meat. Kosakami, more of explosive penetration type missiles. Um, Vanilla though. We got this one, the crossbow. This has very quick missiles. The scripts on here, the way this is all done, is very impressive. It's very quick to get to its target. Best precision out of probably everything here. I believe this is using the same scripts. I believe the Lancer 2 heavy assault bomber. This one carries a lot of missiles. You know, some are exposed. There's quite a few of them underneath too, which is very nice. Anyhow, let's talk about the importance of these. Alrighty. So, not only is there psychological, or yes, there's a psychological effect you can have on your opponents as well, just by the presence of torpedo bombers. If they identify them, they know they're torpedo bombers. They don't want to get hit by missiles. They're going to run away, right? If there's a certain station you want to take, well, you just show up with these, and they're going to run because they don't want to lose their ships, especially if you're investing so little. If you're fighting, say, frigate, destroyer, cruiser, battle cruiser, and so forth, they don't want to get damaged or lose their ships in a fight like this. It's going to be very unfavorable to them. I mean by unfavorable, it's going to be in terms of resource cost. So, if they're bringing the battle to you, and they're bringing all those types of ships I stated earlier, like destroyers and cruisers and such, and they're losing those to say fighter bombers. Well, it takes a lot more resources to make a destroyer and such than it would a fighter bomber. So you can just keep throwing these at them. It's like a grindstone. You just drain them of all their resources until they fall. And there you go. It's kind of it's probably good for guerrilla warfare tactics against some, larger corporations, or sorry, not EVE Online, larger entities. Um, you just bring this to them. If you want to bloody their nose, you bring some fighter bombers over there. They have a forward operation base. You do an attack every now and then. Other things I know everyone probably has on their mind is, hey, so, how they're gonna do their damage, after they release the torpedoes. Yes, their DPS is gonna decrease significantly after the torpedoes are gone, of course. Yeah, cool. Okay, something has to keep doing the bombardments, right? Say the torpedoes, they destroy all the communications, they destroy the weapons, the weapons bay, and torpedo launchers and so forth on a ship, all the hard points. And, well, you just gotta have something to finish it off. Have a destroyer tag along. You'll be able to keep bombarding your opponent until there's nothing left. And something else I was thinking of. One of my last videos, I was saying that I don't like the idea of battle carriers. But I guess as just space engineers, we can make certain compromises in certain places. You had one of these destroyers here. How much is this? 11,000 PCU. Bring four or five torpedo bombers on here. Find a way to stick it on here, right? Via connector. Get to the target. Release all of them. Cause havoc. And the destroyer, is sitting back as all the torpedo bombers, they just wipe out all the heavy, all like the main ships, including like the frigates, destroyers, cruisers, and it just mops up everything afterwards. Doesn't matter how many torpedo bombers are lost because they're disposable to some respect. But it's always good if they return, right? And if you don't want to use the destroyer, you don't want to use those tactics, you can always use a carrier, of course. This carrier is nice and wide, made by Burb Gaming. I featured it on one of my other videos. Plenty of room. You got some larger, you got larger torpedo bombers or anything like that, you can just fit it on there. A lot of room. You can maintain, you can take care of all of them. It's got jump drives, got everything. And something, in going back to combat, something else that was on my mind is that those torpedo bombers can also keep your fleet, safe. They can do this by redirecting a lot of the firepower away from your destroyers and towards torpedo bombers, of course. They will just take a lot of the damage, take a lot of the losses. But the good news is it's actually pretty hard to hit the torpedo bombers to begin with. So when they're moving around, when you got them on an orbit around the target, especially a moving target, so if someone's fighting a squad of torpedo bombers, they're going to be moving around, of course, to dodge fire. Torpedo bombers are going to be moving around too. All the while, that's going to make it harder for the turrets to hit the torpedo bombers. That's a good thing. That means they are tangled up with minuscule ships like torpedo bombers. Some respect, after they release their torpedoes, they're inconsequential. Actually, that's not true, because you can have them target weapons. So even though they might not be able to destroy the whole ship after they release the torpedo bombers, have them target all the weapons, disable turrets, and it will make it safer for your destroyers to get in close and shred them, or whatever you use, cruisers, battleships. But there's so many advantages to them. And instead of playing the big bad ship game, I got the biggest 60,000 PCU battleship or whatever they will pull, you'll be able to basically dissect that thing. So first off, bombers come in, take out the weapons, take out the thrusters. Destroyer comes in, finishes it off. That's a good sort of combat you'd want. Low investment, big return. Hey, maybe you don't even have to destroy their ship completely. You got a salvage crew come right behind you, grind their ship down, take it home. It's your bounty. It's an easy way to do it. Anyhow, what I'm concluding with torpedo bombers is these are a win-win scenario. Either if they're player controlled, that'd be the best. AI controlled is fine. They can do their job. It's going to be a little bit more setting up, of course, especially if you have a carrier. Bring them in, setting up the recorder block. If you're on survival, I don't think that would take much more time. In survival, you spend a lot of time, doing all that, grinding stuff down, out rocks, and so forth, drilling. That shouldn't be a big hassle. Something I neglected to say earlier, silly me, that there is a rock that can be thrown in your gears, or a tree that would fall on your roadway to victory. That is corvettes. Torpedo bombers these will get in your way. Lunar Colony showed one of these. This is an older variant of what is it, Verona class corvette. and still it can do a decent amount of damage to your torpedo bombers. Someone make sure you scout the place, make sure these aren't around or anything like that, or if you can, just try to completely avoid these. These are no good for your torpedo bombers. The task is going to fail. And I'm pretty sure if you're fighting a big fleet and they lose one of these corvettes, but they save a majority of their fleet, or their station, or what else, that's going to be a tactical victory on their end. You don't want your torpedo bombers tangled up with these. Preferably, you'd have the destroyer just take this thing face to face and rip it apart. Just watch out for these. If they have a good fleet commander on their end, and it could create some problems. So always scout it out. Look out, see what they got, fly in there with the a little ship with the jump drive. Know who their allies are. Know what their tactics are. To get a good bite on them. If it's not favorable, and you're going to end up with a tactical victory, then just don't do it. And just back out of it unless you have some way to counter these corvettes. I mean, the torpedo bombers can take it down, of course, but you don't want them just going against a corvette. That's not their main objective. Something I just like to bring up. Anyhow, that's pretty much it for the video. Explained everything that was on my mind. And yeah, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you had any tactics you would use for torpedo bombers, or why you don't like them, and so forth. And guys, I know about the PCU. We got some cheaper. Oh, actually, that's not true. I got one last thing I want to talk to you about. So, what am I? So we got some cheaper torpedo bombers here. Yeah, people complaining about CPU or PCU. Look at this, 3,000. We got some good matchmaking skills here. Take one of these. Well, it's not going to fit that, of course, right? A larger ship will take the Nebula class missile. It could fit one of these. Photon torpedo. Anyone's interested? Let me look it up real quick. Let me show you. Photon. It comes in an assembly. So, photon torpedo here. This is just me just pulling it off of here. It comes with its own launcher. And you can just trigger the, by timer block. Put a timer block on there. Get EAI triggered. Here's a Gremlin. Low cost. Look at this. Oh, sliding away, little guy. 930 PCU. This will do a considerable amount of damage. It can fit on a little ship like this. Imagine that. Yeah. Oh, and this is my Nebula Destroyer class missile. Do the most damage of the three. But it's going to be costing considerably more. I would say for smaller craft, as I stated earlier, Gremlin, you probably just throw a Gremlin on something like this here. You'd be doing wonders. The Gremlin can still crack ships wide open. Very good. Anyways, I am finishing this video for real this time. Bye everybody. Have a good day.